Hey guys, welcome back to a brand new video here on the channel. This is just going to be a little cheeky movie review for the 2025 horror film Heart Eyes. Now, I went into this exactly the same way I went into Companion, not watching trailers. The only time I went to check out the trailer was to essentially download it for this review, just for overlay footage and stuff like that. So this was a film that on paper could have been really bad, just would not have worked. A film that definitely could have come off and probably will come off to some people as a film with an identity crisis, whether it wants to be a comedy, like bordering on parody, almost being in the realm of Scary Movie, or a good old 80s, 90s horror slasher. For me, I had so much fucking fun with this film, and those elements, those confusing elements at that, seemingly worked. I don't know how. Even the premise itself sounds fucking whack. For the past several years, the Heart Eyes killer has wreaked havoc on Valentine's Day by stalking and murdering romantic couples. This Valentine's Day, no couple is safe. Sounds fucking awful, right? So we have Olivia Holt playing Allie, we got Mason Gooding playing Jay. Now, essentially they kind of bump into each other, having coffee, and then they end up working together, and then just things happen along the way and they get targeted by the Heart Eyes killer. So again, he strikes every Valentine's Day, preying on couples that are just trying to enjoy their Valentine's Day, and they get caught up in the mix of it. This is a strange piece of writing. I think it has to do with some of the crew that worked on the film. We got Jordana Brewster as Detective Shaw and Devon Sawa as Detective Hobbs. Hobbs and Shaw. It's a running joke in the film. I don't know. It's fucking weird. Again, on paper, this film is a conundrum and just should not work. But I had so much fun with this. It follows every horror trope. And again, that can sound really off-putting. I get it. This film is not going to be for everyone. I just feel it's one of those things, if you watch the trailer, you know what to expect going in. This isn't Hamlet. This isn't thought-provoking cinema. This is the epitome of, holy shit, that was fucking fun. This is definitely a crowd movie. You know, you need to see it either in a cinema with a packed crowd or with your mates at home if you're watching it at home. When it comes to the look of the Heart Eyes killer, I kind of liked it. At first, when I saw the poster and bits and skerricks of TV spots that were floating around the internet, I'm like, what the fuck? And it seemingly kind of works in like a practical way, and you see that in the film. Now, I said at the beginning of the review that it borders on almost going into the territory of Scary Movie, and Scary Movie is Scary Movie. That whole franchise is the epitome of parody and just taking the absolute piss. And there are moments in this film where it just goes there, right on the border, and then it brings you back to either light comedy or, you know, elements of Halloween H2O, I Know What You Did Last Summer, of course, Scream. This very late 80s, mid 90s horror tropes we're seeing here. Can it be a bit of a distraction with those tropes? Sure. Absolutely. When you can kind of figure stuff out and what is eventually going to happen. But I think at the same time, what caught me off guard is how, again, this should not work, but it just seemingly did. I think the best analogy is in The Simpsons when Mr. Burns goes to get his checkup, and apparently he has every disease known to man, but he has what's called Three Stooges syndrome, where they all try and get through the door at the same time and they're perfectly in balance. That was probably the fucking worst analogy ever, but I feel, to me, that's how I see Heart Eyes. Things that just should not work seemingly work together. And I think that comes down to the writing, the performances, these actors not taking themselves too seriously. When it comes to the gore is fantastic. Like there's one final kill in the film. My mate Jay leaned over to me with this certain final kill and he's like, holy shit, the effects crew would have had a ball doing that. I guess overall, Heart Eyes was a brilliant little goofy shit show. I think that's the best way to put it. That's how I felt anyway. And I mean that in the sense of this film doesn't know if it wants to be a Scary Movie, I Know What You Did Last Summer, 10 Things I Hate About You, Halloween H2O, and again, surprisingly, for me, it just worked. This isn't Shakespeare, this isn't a thought-provoking piece of cinema, but it was damn good horror fun that has all those 90 horror cliches with romance mixed in. Give it a crack on a Friday night, date night, whatever. This is definitely a crowd film. Again, some of the tropes are very distracting at times, and you can kind of figure out and pinpoint what exactly is going to happen at certain moments in the film. But again, it just was fun. Goofy, silly fun. I think this is definitely one where you don't need to exactly look at it through a critical lens. I think the filmmakers, the cast going into this are like, let's just make a fucking fun horror film. People are either going to laugh, people are going to squirm, so have at it. For me personally, I always know I've enjoyed the horror film where I'm like, I can't wait to see what James A. Janisse does for his commentary for the kill count of that film. So I'm very keen to see the kill count for Hard Eyes. I was going to give it a 3.5, but I'm going to bump it up to 3.75 hearts out of 5. Again, it took me by total surprise. I thought it was going to be shit. I thought it was definitely going to be shit house. All I read was the premise and I'm like, oh man, this is going to be forgetful. Why is this in February? It should be in January where films go to die, but I enjoyed it, man. I understand where some people's critiques are coming from. Some people don't like the identity crisis aspect of the film, and that's totally fair. To me, it just worked and it just felt balanced. With that being said, guys, if you have checked out Hard Eyes, drop a comment below. Let me know your thoughts. Love you guts, and I'll catch you in the next one.